The reservoir was built for the future. The future arrived much sooner than expected. Britain's prolonged heatwave has almost emptied a newly built mega reservoir, raising fears over harvests, water shortages, and the country's food supply. For British farmers, this isn't just another hot summer, it's a warning. Britain's prolonged heatwave is now exposing the growing cost of climate extremes, with a newly built £3 million mega reservoir in eastern England almost completely drained after just months of operation, raising fresh concerns over crop failures and the country's food security. The reservoir, built on the 22,500-acre Elveden Estate in Suffolk and completed in October 2025, was designed to store 500,000 cubic meters of water, the equivalent of about 200 Olympic-sized swimming pools, to protect one of Britain's largest vegetable and cereal farming operations. But after weeks of extreme heat and minimal rainfall, the reservoir has been nearly emptied.
It would be a fight to support 10,000 acres of farmland, following an incredibly testing year for the farm. This year has been incredibly testing. We're used to dealing with a lack of water and whatever Mother Nature throws at us. That being said, one of the reasons for this new reservoir was to be able to cope with these incredibly long, hot, dry summers. This is the third year out of 5 we've experienced these conditions, and the big danger is if we have a dry winter, we've got some really serious problems next year.
The Elveden Estate, Britain's largest ring-fenced lowland arable farm, grows onions, potatoes, and carrots supplied to McDonald's, along with cereal crops. Managers say winter barley yields have fallen by 30%, while the estate's other 2 reservoirs have dropped to just 15% of capacity, forcing increased reliance on groundwater boreholes. The warning comes as the National Farmers Union said on August 4th that the UK could face food shortages after extreme heat severely damaged harvests, particularly wheat and oats.
Oat production this year has been very, very poor. We have taken our food supply for granted for far too long. Those other countries around the world that we currently rely on to produce our food, and vegetables, their climates are changing as well. It does feel like there is going to be some shortages of food products. We have to recognize that water security is a critical part of our food security, and food security is our national security.
Blenkiron also warned that months of continuous irrigation have pushed the farm to its limits.
Those people who have put so much effort into irrigating crops deserve medals. It's been flat out here for almost 4 months now, with only a couple of days off from watering in early June. It really is going to take a lot of rain to make any significant difference. People say we can import food from around the world, but because of the El Niño event, we could see an impact on crops across the globe in future.
The Environment Agency, which declared drought across half of England last month, has warned that a second consecutive summer drought could have lasting consequences.
The hot and dry weather means we are currently using water faster than nature can replenish it. A second consecutive summer drought is an exceptionally serious situation and one that will have long-lasting impacts on our environment, wildlife, and the economy. We want everyone to stay safe and hydrated during the hot weather. But every drop we can save is a drop more for nature and agriculture.
English counties reportedly recorded 1 millimetre of rain or less throughout July, while southern England experienced its hottest July on record. With reservoirs shrinking and hosepipe bans already affecting more than 20 million people, experts warn that Britain's climate-driven water crisis is increasingly becoming a threat to both agriculture and national food security. A wildfire is tearing through the Netherlands, forcing evacuations, shutting down rail services and stretching emergency crews through the night. What began as a forest fire in a nature reserve has rapidly grown into one of the country's most unusual wildfire emergencies, as drought and shifting winds continue to fuel the flames. With the blaze still out of control, firefighters are racing to stop it from spreading even further. Firefighters battled through the night into Tuesday after a large wildfire broke out on Monday in the Dutch province of Limburg, near the village of Oostrum, close to the German border. The fire spread rapidly through the forest canopy, creating what authorities described as a crown fire and making containment efforts far more difficult. By morning of August the 4th, the blaze had engulfed around 100 hectares of land and remained out of control. Authorities said constantly changing winds accelerated the fire's spread, forcing emergency services to scale up their response. Around 300 emergency responders from several provinces worked overnight to tackle the flames, while firefighting helicopters resumed operations on Tuesday morning. Earlier, 2 defense helicopters had also been deployed to support efforts on the ground.
The challenge with extinguishing the fire is that it is, as far as I'm aware, very high up in the trees. We are, of course, also dealing with wind that is fanning the flames. The fire is moving through the trees, and you have to be able to reach it.
As a precaution, a nearby campsite was evacuated, with around 30 guests moved to a hotel. Officials also suspended train services between Boxmeer and Venray after the fire spread on both sides of a railway line running through the affected nature reserve. Provincial authorities urged people to stay away from the area, warning that the extremely dry conditions allowed the fire to spread quickly through the forest. They stressed that the cause of the wildfire has not yet been determined. Large forest fires are relatively rare in the Netherlands, making the Limburg blaze highly unusual. However, it comes amid a wider wave of destructive wildfires across Western Europe, following an unprecedented heatwave in June. Much of Europe is currently grappling with severe drought, dried-up rivers, water restrictions, and fast-moving wildfires. A prolonged heatwave and dry conditions have caused soaring numbers of wildfires across Europe, with several countries reporting scorched areas far exceeding annual averages. Water-bombing helicopters flew over Greece's Suffolk on August 4th, dropping water as the battle to contain wildfires in the region continues. 2 crew on a firefighting helicopter crashed and died on August 2nd near the seaside community of Suffolk, about 40 kilometers from Athens, after a mid-air brush with a second helicopter, whose 2 crews survived. More than 400 firefighters and 21 aircraft were deployed near the communities of Kandili and Agia Skepi on Monday as plumes of thick black smoke and red flames engulfed lush pine forests. Spain has seen over 186,000 hectares burned so far this year, about 5.6 times the area recorded during the same period in 2025, according to preliminary data from the Ministry for Ecological Transition and the Demographic Challenge. Italy recorded more than 1,070 major wildfires as of July 28th, burning about 74,000 hectares. The central regions remain particularly hard hit. Portugal registered 5,729 wildfires in the first 7 months of the year, burning roughly 53,000 hectares, the highest level for the period in 4 years, according to the Institute for Nature Conservation and Forests. For now, the battle in Limburg continues. With the fire still not under control, emergency crews remain locked in a race against time, hoping to contain the flames before shifting winds and dry conditions turn an already dangerous wildfire into an even larger disaster.